Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, 2 men in Victoria found guilty of sexual assault.
In Dallas, the city council vote to show support for Israel gets heated.
And a black student outside the Houston area set to be removed from his high school over his hairstyle.
We had some pretty good sunshine today, and tomorrow still on the warm side, but boy, the temperatures for the weekend are going to feel terrific. I'll have your forecast coming up.
Cuero is undefeated, and a senior wideout could not be tamed in the victory. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
Wednesday, 42-year-old Larry Joe Nunez sentenced to 20 years in state prison. Nunez convicted of sexual assault for the May 2022 sexual assault of a Victoria woman. Nunez will also serve a 15-year prison sentence for manufacture and delivery of a controlled substance, which was committed by Nunez in October 2022.
A Victoria man sentenced to state prison Wednesday. 58-year-old George Guadalupe Morales found guilty of aggravated sexual assault of a child. Morales sentenced to 15 years in prison.
And today, 37-year-old Trenton Joseph Taylor of Victoria sentenced to 4 years in state prison. Taylor found guilty of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Taylor pointed a firearm at a Victoria woman while assaulting her last May. Calhoun County Sheriff's deputies arrested 22-year-old Ivan Matu Wednesday night. He was arrested in the Port Alto Olivia area. Authorities tell us the suspect got into an altercation with deputies and paramedics. A child also assaulted during the altercation. Matu faces 5 charges. He is in the Calhoun County Jail in lieu of $150,000 bond. After less than a month in prison, an El Campo fentanyl dealer has appealed his life sentence and is asking for a new trial. In August, a Wharton County jury found 77-year-old Lawrence Harold Jr. guilty of a delivery of a controlled substance, a first-degree felony. Wharton County District Attorney Dawn Allison told the El Campo Leader News it is not likely Harold will win an appeal.
The Shiner Police Department has a new interim police chief. Wayne Denson was sworn in this Thursday morning. Chief Denson is a former Lavaca County Precinct 3 Justice of the Peace and was also a Shiner police officer from 1984 to 1989. Denson succeeds Kevin Kelso, who resigned as Shiner Police Chief last week after nearly 2 years on the job. DeWitt County Commissioners will end the county's burn ban on October 22nd. The DeWitt County judge told the Yoakum Herald-Times they've had about 5 inches of rain in the county in the past 30 days. The burn ban was put into effect in DeWitt County July 24th. And now let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. Mac, can we expect another cool weekend?
It was warming up today.
I know, that kind of bummed me out.
Today was the warm, and tomorrow will be warm, but do not despair. We've got great stuff coming. As a matter of fact, we've got a nice dry line coming in Friday night, and by Saturday, it's actually going to be cool around here. I can actually say that because nighttime temperatures over the weekend will be getting down into the 50s. Yes, sir. We'll be talking more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. Due to the war in Israel, we asked the Victoria Police Department if it is adding extra security to Temple B'nai Israel in downtown Victoria. In a statement, Chief Chuck Young said, quote, "We will continue to monitor the situation and make adjustments locally as needed," unquote. Secretary of State Antony Blinken now in Israel, vowing U.S. support for Israel's defense against Hamas. Blinken confirms at least 27 Americans have now been killed, and the mission to locate more than 100 people held captive by Hamas continues.
During his visit, Blinken met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, whose office released graphic and shocking images of atrocities against civilians by Hamas.
There is no excuse. There is no justification for these atrocities. This must be a moment for moral clarity.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Tel Aviv Thursday, meeting with Israeli leaders and survivors of Hamas's bloody attacks on thousands of civilians this week.
First priority are our friends and family that are now in Gaza.
More than 100 hostages, Americans among them, are being held by Hamas. Their exact whereabouts in Gaza unknown. And with another wave of Israeli airstrikes raining down on Gaza Thursday, fear for their safety worsens.
They use hostages as human shields, and they're very willing to give the hostages up to be sacrificed.
We're doing everything we can to secure the release of the hostages, working closely with our Israeli partners.
Hamas is ISIS, and just as ISIS was crushed, so too will Hamas be crushed.
The Prime Minister's office released more evidence of barbaric acts by Hamas militants, including photographs of burned infants. Images that have other Israeli officials pushing back against concerns that Israel's retaliatory strikes are killing civilians in Hamas-run Gaza.
It was an unprovoked attack, a major massacre against civilians. We have no other choice.
We stand with Israel in its determination to do everything possible to ensure that what happened on Saturday never happens again.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Gaza will not be provided with any electricity, water, or fuel until Israeli hostages being held by Hamas are returned home. But the European Union is calling on Israel to allow Gaza to access food, water, and medicines based on international human rights laws.
Now, these attacks prompted a Dallas resolution condemning the strikes on Israel by Hamas, but the meeting grew emotional at City Hall Wednesday. Palestinians protested the city council vote, saying the resolution should also denounce the mistreatment they claim in Gaza. The mayor said it was necessary for Dallas to make this statement, and a unanimous city council vote agreed. But Palestinian residents crowded the council chamber to speak against it. The mayor said the resolution is not against Palestinian people. It rather condemns the leadership group Hamas, calls for peace and the return of hostages.
We are suffering. We are heartbroken, and we need the support and friendship of our community here in Dallas. But we are united.
Public speakers supporting the resolution were outnumbered by the opponents, but they were also very passionate. The city leaders supporting the resolution said it was not to settle the many years of dispute, only to send a message about recent events.
And Wednesday night, after that city council vote, the Dallas skyline turned blue in a show of support for Israel. It's the latest instance in which downtown Dallas skyscrapers, including the Bank of America Plaza, the Omni Hotel, and Reunion Tower, have altered their LED lights to show support for a cause.
In North Texas, Forest Hill police identified a person of interest in the case involving a cafeteria worker who was gunned down Wednesday in a Forest Hill Elementary School parking lot. Authorities said a woman who worked at David K. Sellers Elementary School was talking with the person in a vehicle in the back parking lot when she was shot several times. Authorities said they are getting closer to filing an arrest warrant, and they added the woman who was murdered personally knew her killer.
After installing the buoys in the Rio Grande, Governor Greg Abbott now putting barriers along the Texas border with New Mexico. The governor says migrants are looking to bypass physical barriers in Texas and using New Mexico to gain entry into the state. The Corpus Christi Caller-Times reports Texas National Guard troops have placed wire along the Rio Grande by Mount Cristo Rey in New Mexico and Texas. That's where the river bends north from its border with Mexico to form the Texas border with New Mexico. Now, a black high school student in Texas said to be removed from his high school because of his hairstyle. Daryl George already served more than a month of in-school suspension over his dreadlocks, but last week he was told he will be removed from Barbers Hill High School outside of Houston to a disciplinary alternative education program. The district prohibits male students from having long hair, but George's mother and the family's attorney deny the teenager's hairstyle violates the dress code. The family filed a lawsuit against the state governor and attorney general for failing to enforce the Crown Act, which is a new state law banning racial discrimination based on hairstyles.
And here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote. Here's the question. Do you think removing a student from school over their hairstyle is a fitting punishment? Yes or no? Let's look at the numbers. 12%, I believe it shows, 22% of the voters say yes, and 78% of the voters say no. We thank you for voting, and we want to hear your opinion. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have updates on 25 News Now at 10.
Now, we brought you this story Monday night where two balloon pilots from Poland were competing in a long-distance race when their balloon crashed in Kaufman County, Texas. Israel Alfredo Lopez, a high school teacher, was near the site when the balloon went down during the Gordon Bennett Cup balloon race. The gas balloon struck a high-voltage power line before falling to the ground and bursting into flames. When Lopez arrived at the scene, he pulled the second pilot to safety just seconds before the balloon exploded.
When I finally looked inside the basket, the second pilot was like on the bottom of the basket, let's say. And so I reach in there and I start pulling him out. We didn't know, or we didn't realize at the moment that his legs were broken.
Lopez says he was able to visit both pilots at Parkland hospitals as they continue their recovery.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6. A murder suspect briefly escapes police in Austin.
Also ahead in Florida, a father found guilty of locking his adopted son in a box-like structure. A verdict reached in the trial of a father accused of locking his adopted son in a box-like structure in the garage of their home.
I'm going to adjudicate the defendant in accordance with the verdict, guilty of the charge of aggravated child abuse, guilty of the charge of false imprisonment, and guilty of neglect.
Tim Ferderer, accused of locking his adopted son in a box-like structure in the garage of their home, now found guilty on all counts. The trial included testimony from the teen and his adopted older sister, who noted she rarely saw her brother during meals and recalled him being punished differently than the other children. The son described to the jury how he was forced to sleep in an 8x8 windowless room in the garage. Inside the room was a mattress, a desk, and a bucket for a bathroom.
A murder suspect, Caitlin Armstrong, sparked a 43-day international manhunt last year. She escaped custody after an appointment at an Austin medical facility, but was quickly captured.
Yeah, the Texas woman is accused of killing cyclist Anna Moriah Wilson. Investigators believe a romantic rivalry may have fueled the crime.
Caitlin Armstrong is accused of killing well-known cyclist Moriah Wilson. Armstrong was brought to this South Austin medical complex for a specialized doctor's appointment that could not be handled at the Travis County Correctional Complex. The trouble started after the appointment, as two deputies escorted her back to a patrol unit to return to jail.
As they were leaving the facility, she ran from those corrections officers, and she made it in total about a block and a half. Both of the officers who were pursuing her on foot never lost eyesight of her. They could see her the whole time. They chased after her and ultimately caught up with her and were able to restrain her.
I asked Travis County spokesperson Kristen Dark if Armstrong resisted arrest, and she said she could not comment. She also wasn't able to reveal how Armstrong was being restrained.
Can you say if Caitlin was handcuffed or what kind of restraint she had this morning?
I'm not able for security purposes to ever disclose the security measures we use with people in our custody.
What Dark could say is that it's rare for inmates to make a break for it.
How uncommon or common is this?
For someone to attempt this, very uncommon. Very uncommon.
Armstrong is likely to face an additional charge or charges for trying to escape. The actions of the deputies will also be reviewed start to finish.
This will be reviewed to look at the type of restraints that were used, whether or not any errors were made on the part of our employees. What could be done better next time?
The former IRS contractor accused of leaking former President Donald Trump's tax returns has pleaded guilty in federal court. Prosecutors say Charles Littlejohn sent Trump's tax returns and other data to 2 media outlets that then published articles using that information. Littlejohn also accused of stealing tax information on thousands of the wealthiest people in the U.S. Because so many people are affected in this case, prosecutors plan to create a public website to notify the victims of any developments in the case. The owners of Midway Market and Liquor in Fraser Park, California, all smiles today after selling the winning Powerball ticket. The family-owned business will receive at least $1 million just for selling the ticket. This winning ticket was finally sold after a winless streak that extended back to July 19th, when a player in California also matched all 6 numbers and won $1.08 billion. The Khalil family, owners of the stores, celebrated the news with friends and say they did not believe it at first.
We're so happy, you know. We got Thank you.
The jackpot is now back down, relatively speaking, to only $20 million.
Only $20 million.
Yeah, I won't get off the couch for 20 million. It's got to be about a billion or something. Anyway, folks, good afternoon. We're at 80 degrees right about now. Sun going down. Pretty nice day. Got up to 84 this afternoon, and that's not even at our average temperature. So it was fairly quiet. Now we're going to be warm on Friday, which is important for football. But by the weekend, we got some really nice weather coming in. We'll be talking all about that coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. Well, good afternoon, everybody. We did get quite a bit of sunshine, and remember all that moisture that we had a couple days ago. It was just real dreary. All that's gone. In fact, I'll show you where it went. But as far as we're concerned, we had a pretty good looking day, lots of sunshine. Tomorrow we'll get up to almost 90 degrees, so it'll be warm because we're going to still be in that southeast wind bringing up that Gulf moisture. But then it's Saturday morning when everything changes. Talking about all that moisture, it's out here in Florida. As a matter of fact, remember we had 2 tropical storms on the Pacific coast of Mexico. They went over the landmass, and now all that moisture is streaming into Florida. Earlier today, they were under a tornado watch. They actually did get a couple of tornadoes in the Tampa Bay area, and very heavy rain, probably in the 4 to 6 inch range. But as we are looking at the next few days, we're looking good. Thinning clouds, and in fact tomorrow we're going to see mostly sunny skies again and generally warm conditions. But it's Friday night when you'll see this frontal system begin to start moving down into our area. Should be here overnight after midnight on Friday night, and by Saturday we're going to pick up a nice north wind. That's going to cool us down a little bit. Yeah, I'm telling you. Nighttime temperatures in the 50s, that sounds pretty good. And that will give us a spectacular couple of days. In terms of rainfall, I really don't see much. There's some leftover moisture out there near Florida, Laredo, that we don't have to worry about. Now, of course, on Saturday, the big news is that we get a solar eclipse. So there's a sun. It's actually much bigger than that. There's a sun. The moon is going to get in the way. And where this shadow falls, that's where you and I are going to be. So we have the opportunity to see something like this. That's why it's called an annular eclipse. The distances wind up so that you see the ring of fire around what is the moon. Okay, the moon is blocking most of the sun except for that ring of fire. But you can't really look at it with the naked eye. So a lot of people are going to be looking for these glasses that are available. They're selling them, and some people will use welder's glasses, but it has to be a number 13 if you have one of those. But a little bit later on, I'm going to show you how to make an easy peasy little viewer that will let you look at it and not even have to point or look toward the sun so you can see the, of course, the eclipse. So today we have a big winter storm rolling out of the Rockies. It's going into the plains, and it's sending this frontal system down into our area. As a matter of fact, North Texas, it's actually going to be chilly up there in the upper 30s in some spots over the weekend. So we'll be the beneficiaries of high pressure and a dry northwest wind blowing through the area. So abundant sunshine. In fact, see, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 gorgeous days. Some of you will actually wear a sweater, I'll bet you. Tomorrow is the warm day. We get up to 90 degrees in Port Lavaca. Partly cloudy, but generally on the sunny side. Southeast winds still blowing. 73 in the morning and 92 in the afternoon in Cuero. Still a pretty good looking day. But there's the front right there. There's the front. Comes in after midnight on Friday. Saturday we pick up a northeast wind, breezy and cooler. Nighttime temperatures getting into the 50s and daytimes only in the upper 70s. Sounds pretty good. That's your 7-day forecast. Just reminding everybody, we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And now here's Sports Director Gina Perez.
Thanks, Karina. The Texas Rangers and Houston Astros series starts this weekend. We have a preview coming up after the break. At a crossroads, the Cuero Gobblers are undefeated and ranked number 4 in the state. A senior on the team has stepped up this season to hopefully take the Gobblers back to the promised land. 17-year-old wideout Dalen Gibbs was on the team last season when Cuero fell to Wimberley in the state semifinals, but believes this team has what it takes to win it all this season.
Our culture, what we have, not only on the field but around us, and we have a lot of threats. Our O-line, defense, we have some very talented people. So
obviously you too.
Yes, sir.
The 5'8" senior wants to be a leader on the field and in the classroom, but not only to his teammates, but to his younger brother and sisters as well. That's why he tries to keep an A average in all of his classes. Gibbs said he might be small, but it works to his advantage.
It's helped me a lot. So not me, like the linemen and stuff, they can't see me, so it's been helping, and it helps me a lot, and I'm quick, so that helps even more. There's some doubts because I'm short, but my teammates believe in me, the fans believe in me, so I just give them what they want to see.
Number 9 on the field can run a 4.6 40-yard dash time and can use that speed in and outside the tackles. Gibbs said he was shocked when he heard his total yards that he had for the game against the Giddings Buffaloes, but knows he couldn't have done it alone.
It was a cool experience. I knew my quarterback was going to get it to me. He trusted me, so I did what I did.
Gibbs and the Gobblers are 6-0, ranked number 4 in the state, and looking to continue dominating throughout the year. In the game against the Giddings Buffaloes, Gibby caught for 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also rushed for 40 yards and 1 touchdown, which comes to a total of 324 all-purpose yards with 3 TDs, which is the reason why Cuero wide receiver Dalen Gibbs is the athlete of the week. And for the first time ever, the Houston Astros and Texas Rangers are meeting in the postseason for a playoff version of the Silver Boot Series. These two teams have played a total of 266 times, and the series is a lot closer than you may think. The Rangers are leading the series by just 2 games all time, 134 to 132. The series has been around for 135 years, and this is the biggest series between the two ever. The Astros have been more dominant, the most dominant team as of late, making it to the ALCS for the 7th straight season, while the Rangers are back for the first time in over a decade since 2011. They say everything is bigger in Texas, and this rivalry is sure to grow to the size of Texas when the series is all said and done. The 7-game series starts Sunday at 7:15 in Minute Maid Stadium. Now, Don and Karina, I don't know who's going to win this one, but it doesn't matter because no matter what, a Texas team will make it to the World Series. That's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
That's right. And by the way, game 1 of the series Sunday night can be seen on our sister station, KVCT Fox 19.
All right. Thank you, Don, and thank you, Gina. We're going to be back in a moment. A Blavillian town teases bulls in hopes to find signs of better crops.
Olivia, bulls are a popular attraction at the Patron Saints Festival following an ancient tradition brought by the Spanish colonizers. About 30 amateur bullfighters gathered to challenge brave bulls. The animal is not sacrificed at the end, according to local peasants.
Oh, wait, that's just a prop.
Yes, now, according to local peasants and farmers, if the bull causes an accident to the bullfighter, it is a sign that there will be a good harvest. In the ring, there are rag dolls rag dolls at the Bull Gorge, not real people.
Good to know.
Well-
and that's no bull. Yes.
Good as that got me the first time. I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
go!"
And now Mac the science guy.
Okay, well, you know, for Saturday, and people are worrying, well, how can I look if I can't look at the sun and the eclipse? And here's what you need. These are the ingredients. You need a cereal box, any kind of cereal, number one. You need a piece of white paper that we're going to tape at the bottom of it, inside. And then you need 2 pieces of aluminum foil, okay? One of them will have a pinhole, a tiny little pinhole, and the other one will have enough for you to see into the box. What's going to happen once we assemble this tomorrow is that, if we can go to the wide shot now, is that the sun will be at your back, the sun will go through the pinhole, and you can look through the other hole and you can see the eclipse down at the bottom of the box, okay? That way you don't have to worry about the kids looking up or doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. So it's this is approved by NASA. So tomorrow we will assemble it and we'll have it ready to go, but that's all you need. If you want to go to NASA and put in cereal box viewer, and it'll show you how to do it. But we're going to assemble it tomorrow so we can all get ready for the big eclipse on Saturday.
And weather forecast?
Oh my gosh, couldn't be nicer. Couldn't be nicer. We've got a warm day tomorrow, getting up to about 90. Cool front comes in by Saturday morning. Only 78 to 80 degrees on Saturday. Sounds good, right?
Sounds pretty good to me.
Low temperatures in the 50s.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you for thinking inside the box. And thank you for joining us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.